everyone. Welcome again to Commander's Pod. I'm your pod father.
I'm Jeff.
And today we're going to talk about what not to do. Don't do these things. These are bad things to do in Commander.
Well, we're talking about magic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we'll see what aggro Jeff is, but so far.
That's not about magic.
Okay, so there you go.
Although I did look at magic.
All right.
While I was getting aggravated.
All right. Well, I mean, at least so it's magic adjacent. But
not really.
Well, let's get into it. Aggro Jeff, what's aggravating you?
All right. So we had to help my mom out because she.
Oh, I can see why that would be aggravating.
Yeah, she thought her box spring on her bed was old, and that's why her bed was sagging in the middle. But it turns out it was a mattress, so we had to return all the things she bought. And we had to help her because she can't carry all of it. So we had to go to Walmart and return all this stuff to help my mom. And then I have to buy her the right thing. So when we go to Walmart, though, there's a pretty big line. But by the time we're getting up to the front, there's a line of like 12, 13 people for returns and one person. Yet you can walk through Walmart and there is empty lines everywhere and empty self-checkout. So they could have brought someone up there to help, but they don't care. They literally want to make returns more difficult.
Yes, of course they do.
It's wild.
Well, the other thing is, having worked at Walmart at one point in my life, people also make it more difficult because some of those people in line are like, well, do you have your receipt? No. Do you have your ID? No. Well, I can't help you, but I want you to. And then it's a whole thing.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. But you're right. They could bring people up, but they don't want to make it easy.
And then the adjacent part is like another thing that's kind of aggravating is I've seen cards for sale at like packs of cards for sale at Walmart before, and Target has them too. Typically, they have like a sprinkling of them at our Walmarts and Targets. At this Walmart, they had a ton of Marvel and like 3 times as much Hobby, which is disconcerting because that means there's a lot out there in the market. And I was recently at a store yesterday in the local area, not the one that we go to when we're going to play that's really great, Mystic Forge, which is wonderful, but a different one. And they had 5 boxes of the Collector's Hobbit for $900 each.
Yeah, scalping.
Right, which is, I don't think that's right.
No, I don't.
From a local store, man. But they're a Pokemon store, so.
Which is scalpers anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is sad for people that collect Pokemon.
2 things. I think that your Walmart is an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because that's why card shops don't do well in your town, because there aren't the same.
There's not the same demand.
Yeah. Because I checked my Walmart after you said that, wiped out. Nothing.
Really?
But I also wonder, it's kind of suspicious when they have that many, because you sent me a picture. That was a ton of Play Booster packs.
A ton.
And the regular ones for the shops are delayed. Like 90% of or 80% of the shipment.
Oh, so the shops haven't even gotten what's on the shelves?
They're saying most of them won't come in until the beginning of September.
Well, and these are different packs. These are not packs that could go in a box.
Retail
These
packs.
are the hanger packs.
Yeah.
So the boxes are what they're
But I wonder if
on.
it was like kind of a sneaky, like, tell you what, we'll give you.
Make them buy them at the. Yeah, it could be buy them.
Hopefully
per
not.
pack.
Hopefully Wizards isn't doing.
Dude,
have a
little discipline though, guys. I mean, if you're gonna buy 1 pack here and there, but please do not be buying packs singular of Magic the Gathering. There is not a more terrible decision.
Well, I mean, yeah.
There is not. It's what you can spend. They're $8 now. And you could walk away with a $1 card very easily.
Right. Well, the Universe is Beyond are $8. The regular are $6.
Well, these ones we're talking about right now are $8.
Yeah, they're Universe.
Because I was just there.
Yeah,
so.
they're Universe is Beyond.
But they don't feel like it, do they?
No, the Hobbit feels very like
in-universe.
Yeah, it feels okay. Unlike Marvel, where it's like skyscrapers.
It's the best small set I think they've ever done.
I mean, you keep saying small set.
It's a small set.
It wasn't that small.
I'm not saying that. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it was over 200 cards. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's a small set, and it was very good.
Assassin's Creed was a small set.
How many cards did that have?
Like 165.
Are you just guessing?
I seem to remember.
Okay, we'll look it up.
And
we'll
then,
fact check
and then
that.
March of the Machines was a very small set. That was 58 or some ridiculous number. But anyway, Yeah, but I like the second one. The first one, it's just I don't go to Walmart for that reason. I hate Walmart. I would rather spend more to go somewhere else.
Well, yeah, I don't like going to Walmart at all. The only reason why I was at Walmart was because my mom needed to return stuff. Otherwise, the only time I use Walmart is when they deliver, which, by the way, is a good deal.
Yeah, if you buy the membership.
Which comes with Paramount, so you can watch Star Trek, which all of
with
you
ads.
should.
With ads.
Yeah, but it's free.
But anyway, so what not to do in Commander? So don't buy your cards at Walmart. That's the first one.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, get a pack if you want a pack, but don't buy a handful.
Yeah, here
of
and there.
packs.
You're like,
Yeah, you know,
which means like one every few cents.
it should be like a pack of gum, right? At Walmart,
very,
you
very
might pick up a
expensive
pack of gum.
yeah.
Well, but I'm saying you might pick one. You're not going to pick up a handful of packs of gum at Walmart. Usually, most
Right.
people.
No, I mean unless you got a problem.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you got stinky.
You're the reason New York has gum everywhere.
Yep. But so what not to do on Commander? So the first thing, let's start at the beginning. Don't keep a bad opening hand. And don't. There's multiple reasons why people will do this. Don't get greedy.
Yeah.
Don't be like, this is playable, but I don't see any of my combo pieces. Or this is playable, but I mean, unless you're playing CEDH, but this is playable, but I really want some more, power in my hand or whatever. If it's playable, great, keep it. But don't be like, I'm going to pitch this because it's not good, and don't keep it because you're like, oh man, I may only have
What
one.
if? Yeah.
I only have one land.
Yeah.
If I have a 3-drop, ramp card, and now I got all my favorite cards in my hand.
Yeah.
So if I just draw a card this turn and next turn, or even the second turn and third turn, I'm fine.
I've even seen people do like, I have one land, but I have Soul Ring, but you're a 3-color deck.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're going to have 3 mana on turn 2, but that's all you'll have. Because there's no guarantee you're hitting a land.
Another reason people do it, I'm just trying to hurry so we can play.
Yep.
Don't do that.
I haven't
because
seen
it's
that a
no
ton,
fun.
though.
Oh, I see it a ton in the shops because
Really?
somebody will be up using the bathroom or something, so they're late. Everybody else has got their hand or something, or maybe they switch decks.
You don't think that's just an excuse that they wanted to keep the hand and they're blaming it on that?
No, I don't think so. I've seen it here. I've seen it here. Dwayne
Really?
does it all the time.
Well, because
He'll be
Dwayne
like, "Ah, it's
doesn't
fine."
care about winning.
Yeah.
So Dwayne's like, whatever happens, happens. I don't care.
But it's no fun for the rest of the people if you're sitting there with one land on turn 4 and you can't do anything, or
No.
2 lands on turn 4.
But let's talk about this a little bit more too, because there's also sort of an opposite to this, which is do keep a bad hand, which is when you're on your first mulligan's free. After that, you're losing a card. When you get to after your first free mulligan, if you get a hand with 5 lands in it, you really have to decide at that point whether you want to keep a 5-land hand, which is not a good hand.
Right.
It's better than being down a card.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well,
I
it
don't know
depends what the other
deck's
2
like.
cards are too.
It does, and it just depends what your deck is like.
Yeah. If your other 2 cards are both like a 9 and a 7 drop, that's a pretty bad hand. I mean, I might pitch that back. It really depends on
But
your
you
deck.
could end up with a 1-land hand after that, and then you're going down 2 cards. Like sometimes you got to risk it. But the other thing we say here is if your first hand has 5 lands, that's probably a bad hand.
Right.
You could go ahead and pitch that.
The other piece of advice, and take this with a grain of salt, but if you get that 5-land hand and you are going to pitch it back,
Yeah.
don't just put it back on top and shuffle. Take those lands and spread them out in your deck before you shuffle.
I mean,
Don't
that could
count it
help.
out. Don't count it out. Don't decide exactly. But I'm just saying, just spread them out because that's 5 lands, and sometimes that 5 lands, 3 or 4 of them might stick together.
Could make a difference.
Yep.
Could make a difference.
But other thing about not keeping a bad hand, don't assume drawing will help you. Don't be like, okay, I have a 2-land hand. I don't have any ramp in my hand, but if I just get one more land, I have a 3-cost mana rock. That might help me.
Yeah.
And as long as I can get that by turn 3, right? That's what people say. As long as I can get that, well, that's 3 draws, right?
Right.
The percentage chance of you getting a land in 3 draws isn't significantly high enough that I would do that.
The only chance you have is if you have like Mystic Remora
Yeah.
and have an island.
Right.
Don't play Mystic Remora.
Right.
Oh, I'll draw an island. No. But if you have Mystic Remora in your opening hand, just be careful because if people know you're mana locked and you don't get that third land, they just won't. They just won't play stuff. If you're going to pay for it,
if you're going to do that, don't make a big deal about the fact you don't have a lot of lands. Don't say, oh, I'm playing a bad hand, but I have because they won't play the stuff just so you don't get it.
For sure.
And it's still a chance they may not. So it's even doing that is a little.
Unless
risky.
you have a really nice guy at the table, sometimes they'll do it just to help you.
Yeah, sometimes.
But that's a bad idea.
But don't count on drawing into your answer to the making your hand not bad. If it's a bad hand, it's a bad hand.
Now this advice also is dependent upon how many lands you have in your deck.
Yes.
If you have 40 lands in your deck and your opening hand has 2 lands in it, and you've got some other good plays, you can probably feel a little more comfortable starting with the 2 land hand. If you're playing under 36 lands, just forget about it. Don't even try to play with the 2. I wouldn't. I mean, your chances are not good.
No, they're not. If the other thing is if your commander's Ragavan,
yeah, because you could get a land off the top.
Yeah, as long as your land is, it has to be red. It could be colorless, I guess, but it's not going to be any other color.
What, the land?
It's not going to be any other color, I'm saying. So as long as you have a red land to play them with, you could probably, your deck better than we do, maybe you could play a 1-land hand. So this isn't for everybody, but we're saying in general.
In general.
So what you should have for an opening hand, 3 lands and or a hand with 2 or 3 cards you can play for your hand to further your game. And what I mean by that is if those cards are not going to further your play, if they're just cards, like they don't really do much for you, it's just like, well, I have a 0/4 wall blocker. But that's not relevant until I get my commander out and he costs 7. That's not
so you might have a rogues deck where you could play some small creatures, but until they can trigger to draw you cards, you're not doing anything. So I wouldn't start with the 3-land hand with that. But if it's a mana rock or anything that can draw cards, I would. Right.
But you should have at least 3 lands, and you want to have things you can play in at least turns 2, 3, or 4. You know what I mean? Depending on your deck. I mean,
I'm okay if you start at 3.
Right.
If that's where your mana rock,
your
mana ramp is.
3 is like, if you can't play by 3 or 4, definitely do not keep that hand.
Ship that hand, yep.
So those are the general rules for that. But also, when you get your hand, don't dump it out on the board and leave yourself with jazz hands by turn 4.
Unless you're red.
Yeah.
Which we talked about.
Yeah.
Then go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And just apologize to whoever you killed.
Yeah. You got to keep some things in your hand reserved. Don't just vomit out everything you got and be like, this is awesome, and then I'm going to top deck stuff, and it's going to be cool, and now I've got my pieces because somebody's got a board wipe, and then you're just playing from the top of your deck.
Yeah, and you got to know your meta. Like, if they don't play board wipes, maybe it's a little bit different, but those board wipes come at turn 4 and 5. You need to know things are getting reset then. If you got nothing in your hand, what's your backup plan?
Right. And there are things besides board wipe that can affect you, though. There are things that say a player can't attack unless they've cast a spell first.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if you're top decking and you only get a land, you're not attacking. If that's what your deck needs to do, you need to have a backup plan in case your current board state becomes less viable.
Yeah, and so if you are someone who likes to play all this stuff out of your hand and you tend to play creatures, there are some things you can do, like I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's Bene Supremo is the one I play, Greater Good.
Greater Good.
So Greater Good is very powerful in that way, and there's some other cards that can do that too, because you could play your whole hand out, and then if people are like, oh, I wiped the board, then you just sack your creatures in response, because it says you draw cards equal to the power, and then you discard, I think, 3. Either 2 or 3, I don't remember.
Or if you have a way, some cards can bounce all your stuff back to your hand, or some of it back to your hand.
Things like that.
That's an exception to this, but otherwise, keep some stuff in backup. Don't go full out before turn 6 or 7, because maybe turn 5, because people are going to board wipe, and then you're starting.
And even if you're like, well, I'm going to take this huge risk because when it comes around to my turn, I have 3 creatures out. I'm planning to board wipe, and my board wipe draws cards. You're taking a huge risk that you're losing. You're probably going to lose the game to get percentage better chance of winning. You're better off just go ahead and play 2 creatures instead of the 3 and have a backup plan.
Yep.
Yeah, you won't draw as many, but you'll be fine. Drawing 2 instead of 3 is fine.
That goes back to many of these go to don't get greedy.
Yeah.
Don't use removal when it isn't necessary.
Duncan, this is totally you, man.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, you do this so much. I don't know why you do it. Like, what'd you remove that threat for? It wasn't even bothering you yet. But you're like, well, it's powerful, which it is.
Yeah.
But then the next person's turn, they play something crazy. And I remember you didn't target something of mine, which I was very happy. And I think someone at the table, I don't remember who it was last time we played, they were like, now don't you wish you... Oh, it wasn't me. You removed someone's something, and they were upset about it. Then it came to my turn, and I played the real threat. And they're like, don't you wish you still had that for him? And you're like, yep.
Here's my thing to that. The thing I removed in that instance, I don't remember specifically what it was. For that person's deck, I think it was Cream of the Crop in Ashling, but I'm not sure. But it was one of their cards that just makes their deck start popping off and just getting far ahead. The other thing I would say is, if you're the only guy you know at the table who plays removal, you have to be more careful. And that's something that I've had a hard time shifting from one play group to the other, because at the shop they play a lot of removal. Here at work they don't play as many.
Right. So one thing you have going against you on that too, and it's going to be the same for everybody, is when you're playing single target removal that's remove something already permanent on the board, you can respond when you want. Right. You play a lot of counters. So you don't get the advantage of being like, I'm going to wait. You're like, this is a very dangerous threat right now. You have to sort of threat assess that right now. Yes, something more scary might come up, but this is not a bad target for me to aim at right now. And then people are always going to say, oh, don't you wish you held it? It's like, well, I didn't have that knowledge then. This is a counter spell. I can't be like, wait till someone else's turn and then go back, oh, now I counter your thing.
The other thing is, in the situation you're talking about, the spell I used was, it could remove a creature or an enchantment. Mm-hmm. I believe it was, what's the black spell that does that? You lose life equal.
Feed the Swarm?
Yeah, Feed the Swarm.
Yeah.
And I used it removal on a creature. There is not a lot of black enchantment removal, except for like, they can sacrifice an enchantment, but if they have multiple ones, they can sack whatever one they want. And when I ended up needing it, it was against an enchantment. If you have something that you know is really for an enchantment in case that's a problem, but it can also do creatures, that's another reason to hold it back and say, I feel like that's a problem, but by the same token, if I don't hold this back and then somebody plays like Smothering Tithe and this guy's drawing a ton of cards, this could get out of hand, hold it back.
Which, another important thing to say about this is, even when you're building your deck, this is why, yes, I believe counter spells and things like that are single target removal. They just can't be all your single target removal. Like, they shouldn't really even, if you have 10 single target removals, if 5 of them are counter spells, that's probably not a good idea. What I would say instead is, counter spells also work really good as protection. So what I would do is I'd go, okay, I have 10 single target removals. I've got 3 protection slots. Maybe I'd put 2 counter spells in my protection slot and put most of my single target removal as actual single target removal, so that I can wait and make a decision as to what's really going to threaten me.
Right.
And when you're removing stuff, don't just threat assess what is powerful. For instance, someone plays Smothering Tithe. By itself, that's super powerful, right? If the person has no cards in hand and no card draw engine on the board right now, and they don't have any way to drop their mana into something, yes, they're going to be gaining treasures. They're not a problem right now.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to be a problem, but they're just not a problem right now. Let them have it. Now, that can be a little bit different with card draw, I think, and even treasure's a little hard because you get to store that.
Yeah.
But you could
but
probably
treasures
wait.
are a lot easier to remove than lands.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So consider that. But let's talk about, so don't use your removal just because you want to do something with your unspent mana or because you can.
Right.
And the famous thing I hear people say when you say, well, don't you wish you would say it? Well, I took out the most powerful thing on the board. Mm. Well, that's great. But if it wasn't a problem, what was the point?
Yeah, I took out the most powerful thing on the board. It just happened to be a 2/2 that draws a card a turn. It's like, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, don't be like, well, I held up my mana all this time. I don't want to have wasted it. Waste it. It's better to waste it because people respond to you having untapped mana. If they know you have responses in your deck, they're going to look at that and be like, I'm not going to play this thing yet. And then when you play your removal, now the next turn, then they play it.
Use politics. Say, hey, I've got a removal. I won't remove it as long as whatever that thing is doesn't come at me.
Yep. But be careful with that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Don't use it in revenge, and I put in parentheses here unless it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But too often I see somebody,
this is a casual game.
You countered my commander. Well, now I'm going to remove your one creature on the board. It's like that one creature was a 2/2 with defender. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
It's very silly. It's like now you're just making both of us lose for no reason because you wasted that, so you're hurting your chance to win.
Sometimes you can ask if others have removal so you can save yours. Don't necessarily mention that you have removal when you're trying to do this. So that's why I say, like, you have to be careful, because if you announce that you have removal, then when something comes around, they're going to be like, Jeff, go ahead and take care of it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're holding theirs back.
Yeah, and you have to be careful with that, because if it is a threat to the whole table and you're like, no, I'm not going to remove it, that's tough, because you may have just lost the game for that. For what reason? I don't like. So, yeah, it's a tough thing to do. You got that's where politics comes in. You got to decide what's best, because at that point, probably removing it makes you a friend to the rest of the table.
Right.
So,
and then don't save it forever either. Don't sit there with if you die with 3 pieces of removal in your hand. That's kind of sad.
Well, so this is interesting because the casual Magic players don't play in a meta, right? We have our own separate metas, but there's not a meta like CEDH or even Standard or even Modern, where they understand how all the cards interact, and they go, I know this is a card that does this with this other card, and they have this in the graveyard, so I have to remove this threat. A lot of times, Commander players don't understand that.
Yep.
Because they're not looking at all the different angles that affect it. A great example of this were we were all very happy to get treasures from Ascended to Avernus when you were playing it. We all saw that you played Spidey's camera. What's that freaking thing called?
Peter Parker's camera.
Peter Parker's camera, okay? Had we taken a moment to think about the interaction between those two things and not just been greedy with, I'm going to get treasures and I'm thinking about what I'm doing on my play, but what's really going on over there on the board with Duncan, then we would have known that was the removal piece we had to remove, or we are all going to die. It was right on board. And so, yeah, you have to know how the cards interact, even when you're not used to playing the deck. Which, funny enough, is the reason why I try to build so many different types of commander decks. Because I want to know I want to know how the decks work.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But yeah, don't save it forever. Ever. If you have 3 pieces of removal, feel free to use one on something that may not be the best target, but it's pretty bad right now. I have 2 backup pieces,
Especially if it slows someone down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we'll go into also with this. Don't target suboptimally. Now, this is threat assessment, but it's also like some of the things we were just talking about. Just because something's the worst thing that somebody has doesn't mean that's what you want to remove right now. Sometimes you want to see how things play out.
Yeah.
Don't confuse highest life total with the biggest threat.
No, life title's almost, well, unless they're at like 100.
Right.
That's almost a non-issue. Like, who cares?
But removing their stuff isn't going to help you get them below 100 necessarily.
Right. Well, unless it's something that keeps gaining them a ton of life.
Right. If
they're gaining 20 life a turn.
If they're getting out of hand and you can remove a piece to kind of
especially if they use life as a resource.
But the person with the highest life total is rarely the threat at the table.
No. And the other thing that plays into this too is it's not just what's on board. If they have 10 cards in hand, they're a threat, whether or not they have anything on the board.
Right. Sometimes it's not about threat assessment. You know who the threat is, but you feel bad because everybody's been picking on them.
I haven't experienced this.
Yeah, right.
No one seems to feel bad.
I've seen it when you were at the shop once. It happened.
No.
I remember like 3.
Really?
Yeah, like 2 of the 3 players like targeted you.
Okay,
and
with players
player,
who don't know me, I could see that happening.
Right. But those that know Jeff know he deserves it. So, but don't feel bad for the person that's the threat.
Yeah.
That's a silly reason to lose because you wanted to be nice and not be the third person to beat them up or remove their stuff.
Yeah, and typically look, this game is casual and it's fun. You want to make friends. I don't know a ton of people who genuinely respect you when you walk away from the game if you phoned it in to be their buddy.
Yeah.
like, I'll be nice to you, but like, I know what you did, and I think that's cheesy.
Right.
Like,
Well,
and everybody else knows what you did, whether it was to me or someone else. And if it was to someone else, I'm even more aggravated. I might not tell you, but like, that's really cheesy.
Right. Well, and sometimes you were like, you know what? He's been beat up on enough.
Yeah,
I don't think
go
he's
ahead.
the threat.
I'm the target.
I'm gonna be nice and not do it. I think he's been trimmed back enough so he's not gonna be a problem. And then they go off and win on their turn because you didn't do.
Well, you can't help that, dude. Like,
I understand,
if
but
they
I'm
don't
saying,
appear to be the
again,
threat at the moment.
It's knowing the player. That's why people don't give you the benefit of the doubt.
I know.
Because, like, for the instance in the board wipe, they know you hold things back.
So Bryce will like this. So we were playing at the shop. We'll do a little story time. What do we call it?
Tales from the table.
Tales from the table. So
Who am
Tales.
I again?
What?
Huh?
You're Duncan.
Where am I?
You're the podfather. So Tales from the Table. My son on Saturday, Jaden, he's 15. He came to me at 8:00 at night and said, "I think I'd like to go to the shop." Now he's never asked to go to the shop.
No, of your two sons, he would be the one I would think would least want to.
Yeah. And he's like, "I want to go to the shop." And I was like, "Dude, it's 8:00 at night. Could you not have told me earlier? It's 45 minutes away from our house, and we got church in the morning." And he's like, "Yeah, but I think I want to go." And I was like, "Well, what am I going to tell my son I don't want to hang out with him?" Like, when a 15-year-old says, "Dad, I want to hang out with you," it's like, the answer is yes. What do you want to do? And so we went, and we got there like 8:45, and him and I played 2 games together. I gave him some money to spend at the shop.
Which shop did you go to?
Yeah, I went all
I didn't know you actually went.
That's why I was calling you.
I know,
I
but-
didn't realize you were on a date with your wife.
Yeah.
I just thought you were countering someone because...
Even though I had told you I was going to go out on a date.
Well, you had told me like days before.
2 days before.
Yeah, don't expect me to remember.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, we know it.
normally when you say things like that and you're like, "Are you at the shop?" and I say no, you're like, "Oh, okay," and then you stay home. So I'm glad.
No, I went.
I'm glad.
So we played 2 games, and then Bryce came over, was kind enough to join us, and then someone else came over, and I apologize. I'm trying to remember the person's name, but I don't because I've only played with them once. So, but Bryce sat down, and we're playing, and the guy to my right, he was playing like a sort of aggro Voltron something or other, but Bryce pretty much had this thing locked down. Like, Bryce was doing very well because Bryce is a good builder.
Yeah.
And Jaden's playing Omo, and I'm playing Aloy. And I've got nothing going on. Like, I'm an artifact deck with no ramp. It was sad. It was pathetic. So I'm still getting some attacks, but not a ton of them. Jaden has Maze's End. He's real close. On his turn, he probably could have won, but he didn't know how to do the actual thing to get to 10 because he was kind of far off. He had to do some really tricky stuff, which Bryce was like, afterwards, "Let me show you what you could have done," which was helpful to Jaden. But Bryce was like, "All right, I've killed Jaden. Now I'm going to kill you." And I was just playing like, "Yep, I'm dead. You're going to kill me. I'm going to be gone." But I had Cyclonic Rift in my hand. Now, some people said, "Why didn't you wait till he went to attacks and stuff?" And the reason is because he was tapped down. So in that moment, I was like, this is my chance to Cyclonic Rift. And yes, he'll be able to play stuff out, but I'm going to get a turn. And I had a little bit of setup, not much, but I was like, Aloy could possibly still make it happen because we were on like turn 8 or something. So it comes to my turn. I Cyclonic Rift, resets the board. I get a few more pieces out. I know I got to deal with one attack. I take the attack, and then I just go off. Which is what Daniel Swanee literally says every time. He's like, "You guys are going to let him live. He has nothing. He will kill you." And then I did.
Yep.
So it was very classic.
Yeah.
It was a very classic me move.
Yeah. Very good. But so, there you go. Don't feel sorry for the threat. He should have killed you first.
Yeah, don't. Well, and I wouldn't have waited for Bryce either. Bryce is also an experienced player. Yeah. There's also some. You're not just evaluating the cards. You're evaluating the player.
Right.
So
and here's the thing. There's 2 sides to that coin the way you described it, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I played it on my turn because I knew that he was tapped down and he couldn't respond.
Right.
I mean, there's very few ways he could respond. We'll put it that way.
He could have had a fierce or something, but I was paying attention to him.
Right.
It didn't seem like he had that.
Right. And my thing is, when I'm in that situation, I'm like, nope, I'm going to wait till their turn. They're going to tap. They're going to play a bunch of stuff. Then they're going to swing at me. Then I cast it, bring it all back. Now I've gotten more stuff and made them commit more resources. And now they're going to have to discard at the end of the turn.
Yeah, and that is
Sometimes
100%
that works
what
better.
you do. Yeah.
And sometimes he has 2 mana up and he counter spells.
Right. So the way I play, because I don't like risk, I don't like to play cards that I don't know what they're going to do to others. I don't like to draw other people cards. I don't do any of that stuff because I'm playing the percentage. And the percentage is, yes, I could win more on his turn, but I can win some right now.
Right.
And so I'm going to take, what do they say? 1 in the hand is better than 2 in the bush?
Yeah.
That's always the way I play.
Yeah. But don't target suboptimally can be more than threat assessment. Maybe you know the threat, maybe you're being too kind, maybe you're, there's different things in this, but that was that one. When building, don't over focus on your commander. Now there's some builds you can't help it. It's the weird commander, and the thing you're trying to do is just, it's going to require them.
Yeah. Don't maybe play too many of those commanders.
Yeah, you don't want to. Don't assume you will always have access to your commander.
No.
They could make it so expensive you can't cast it. They
You
could
remember
put down a Drannith
13
Magistrate.
costs Rise the Redeemed. Do you remember that?
Yeah. They could put down Drannith Magistrate so you can't cast it.
That's right.
They could steal it from you when it's on the board.
They could turn it into an indestructible artifact.
Yes. Maybe with Dark Mutation?
Dark Steel Mutation, is it?
Yeah, Dark Steel Mutation.
Possibly? I don't remember.
I think so. But anyway, so don't always assume you're going to have access to your commander. You need to have a deck that can play in case you don't get your commander.
In that game that I was just talking about, I didn't even play Aloy.
Right.
The whole game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't fill your deck only with cards that will synergize with your commander. You know what I mean?
One I don't understand.
So, in our words, if you have a commander, let's say, that has Explore, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to play just all creatures that have Explore. You don't want to be like, now I get this guy who's going to Explore twice because my commander gives it to him and then he has them. This guy gives all my guys. And it's like, yes, there is some benefit to that, but it's better to proliferate several times than to just explore.
Maybe. I mean, I think you need to have a backup plan. So play some card draw that isn't just that, I think. Is that what you're saying?
Some, but also don't just do the keyword that's on him and just lean into that. Have things that kind of do what he does in a different way or take advantage of what he does in a different way. It removes counters to draw cards, right?
Sure.
Don't do everything just, exploration so all you guys have Explore. No, do some stuff that takes advantage of having those counters.
Yes, you could.
But I'm saying do some different stuff because if the one thing that your commander does, people find a way to stop it.
One thing you could do is have late game win cons that aren't dependent on your main theme. Is that like what you're saying? Because
exactly.
You have 15 mana and you're like, I play another creature with Explore.
Yep.
And I trigger this and I get mana and I get that and I do this and I draw a card and I got 7 creatures with Explore.
Well, that's part of what
but
I'm saying.
I still can't kill anyone.
Right.
Whereas with 15 mana, I can exsanguinate.
Right.
So that's what you're saying? Like
that's
have a backup plan?
That's part of what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
have
cool
a backup plan. And sometimes just doing the same thing over and over again, it may be cool. You may be doing your thing, but it's not advancing you in the game enough to win.
And there are some commanders that lean themselves towards this, which make it difficult. Like the Thronduil deck I just built, which is not combo, right? So I left that out. But it very much wants you to play elves and trigger off of them. It wants you to play legendary elves so you can draw cards. But it also wants you to put elves in the graveyard that have good abilities, which aren't always legendary. Some of the best abilities aren't on legendary creatures,
right?
Especially mana abilities. So the deck has you going, put cards in the bin, play elves that are legendary, play elves with great abilities. That's 3 separate things. You don't really have room in that to do something else. You're doing those 3 things, and that's really
but that is varying your deck, so you're not going to get stuck in one loop where it doesn't do anything.
By nature, but then you are a little dependent on the commander, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
but you probably have other things in there that do the same things.
Well, you have elves.
You have elves that are going to do things. But I'm saying you may have things that care about things in your bin.
Yes.
Right?
Like reanimate.
Reanimate
would
things
be a
like
great
that.
example. Yeah.
You may have things that care about elves. You may have things that so you can play things that have one of those three things to kind of act as a sub commander when you're commander.
To have a backup plan.
Yep.
Yeah. And you could obviously in that deck play Exsanguinate.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yep.
Because you have a ton of mana.
Yep.
But I wouldn't because that seems boring.
Keep some info secret, and this is something that I see a lot of people do in the wild.
Like your name, just don't tell them.
Yeah, totally.
Be withholding.
Yep, that mysterious stranger
Yep.
attitude is what you
Yep.
want. No, so what I'm saying is there's a difference between lying and not volunteering information. I'm not telling you to lie to people about what your deck can do or what, things on the board you cannot lie about. You have to tell the truth. There's certain things, but
And you can't. The thing you withhold can't be board knowledge.
right.
You can't
Does
be
that
like
thing have trample? No.
you can't be like, oh, I play this thing, not name it, and you know it's going to help you win, and you haven't said what it does. Right. Well, you didn't ask. Like you got to explain it.
Yeah, you don't do that. But what I'm saying is the things like when you have removal and you're asking, can anybody else remove this? You don't have to say I can, but can anyone else? Because in some play groups and some people will just be like, yeah, you use yours. I'm going to.
I think the correct answer in that moment would be who has priority. They're like, can you remove that? Who has priority?
Yeah.
So they're like, well, I just want to know if you have a removal. Well, you got to wait till my turn to find that out.
Yeah.
Like.
Because also,
are you trying to make a deal with me? If we're trying to make a deal, tell me why I should give you information.
Some people will be asking you that question when it's not priority hasn't even been passed yet, and if you answer, you're giving the guy who's going information he didn't have and doesn't need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that.
So that's an example. Don't automatically announce you can counter something. Let everyone respond in turn order.
I love that. They play it and they're like, I counter it, and you're like, dude, you're third in the rotation. The 1 and 2 people after that could have countered that for you, and you wouldn't have had to do anything.
Yep.
Just wait.
Yep,
it's wild.
I love when that happens.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Don't cockily announce to everyone that you can deal with the problem 3 turns before you're going to be able to deal with the problem. Like if you have it, there's priority has to be passed, has to go to the next person, person.
My favorite, and this has only happened at the shop. This has never happened with our play group, but is, don't worry about it. I have an answer. And then it comes to that person's turn, and they're like, play a card draw engine. And you're like, I thought you said you had an answer. I do. I'm going to draw cards to get my answer. And you're like, stop it. That's crazy.
We'll skip ahead because the one, not the next one, but the one after that was don't make deals you can't enforce. Parentheses, don't offer to remove something if you don't have removal in your hand, but you might draw it. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Don't respond because something is scary. Respond because it's a threat. And that goes back to what we were talking about before. A 12-12 is scary. Does it have trample? No. Then you can block it with a 1-1. But a 12-12 is scary.
So hold on. 1,000,000? Is it scary if it doesn't have trample? We learned. Nope. Not scary.
But when you only have one creature, it is.
Could be
and
scary
you have 3
for
of
you.
those.
Yeah, and then that's where you spend your time not worrying about dealing with the threat. You spend your time pointing at them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, that person has a very scary board.
Don't concede mentally because you're behind. Try and stay in the game. I have seen so many games where somebody who, maybe they were mana screwed the whole game.
Yeah.
But yet at the end they win because they were left alone.
Every time. Dude.
Yeah.
Every time.
And that's not a reason to play a 2-land hand or a 1-land hand.
No, I'll attack you because you shouldn't have started like that. The only reason why I might not attack you is I don't think you're a threat and I don't believe your commander can pop off.
Right.
But like if you're playing Aloy, if you're playing Voltron, if you're playing a deck that I know can pop off, I'm probably still going to be hitting you. And you're going to be like, I've got nothing going on. But I know you can.
But you're an exception. Most people leave that person alone, then they win. So don't mentally check out because you're behind. I know it's hard, but try and pay attention. Try and keep in the game.
Think of it this way. You're enabling their bad behavior.
Yep.
By allowing them to get away with playing a 2 or 1-land hand, you're encouraging them to do it again. Go ahead and kill them first.
That's probably why Sloan always did it, because it worked out for him several times.
Yeah, because of you. You're the nice guy. Stop me from killing him.
That was different. I wanted to see him kill himself with his commander. That was more fun.
So wild.
He might win. He might kill himself.
And then he killed us.
The last one we've talked about before, many of these we have. Don't talk about how you would have won your next turn after you lose. Man, it's a good thing you won because I was about to. The exception to this is if you're kind of congratulating them. Yeah, you did the right thing because I was about to. Yeah. That's an entirely different feeling from, oh man, I was about to win. It was going to be mine. You're lucky you won. Yeah. That's not cool. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. You can probably say, oh my gosh, I played that wrong. I had the win on board. I screwed it up. I messed up. A good win. Yeah. Like, because there you're just like, yeah, you played well. I played bad. You won. Like,
but every game, and what the sad thing is, and I hate admitting this, the older the players or the more experienced the players, the more you hear it. Yeah. Like somebody will win, and in turn everybody goes, "Yeah, I was about to win. Yeah, I was about to win." It may be true. You don't need to say it every time.
Well, I think it's different if you have the win on board. If you had the win on board and you missed it, then if you're like, "Oh, look, I drew. Look what I drew. I would have won." It's like you don't even know if you would have drawn that card, dude.
Yeah.
Someone could have taken the top card of your library, and then you wouldn't have had it.
Right. Yep. Somebody could have made you wheel your hand.
Yeah, for sure. Which are fun.
So, but yeah, don't say it because people say it all the time. It gets obnoxious. You're kind of taking down the person who did win and trying to steal.
We should do a thing where like we have a rule in our games. If someone says it, you make them buy you a Coke.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Or you could do like a donation bin. And like in our games, like we come up with a list of things you shouldn't say. Yeah. And then you got to put $1 in, and then we donate that at the end of every month.
So like the other thing is sometimes we play at your house, sometimes we play at Swanee's. Those are pretty much the two houses. Yeah. It's not fair for you guys to provide snacks all the time. Maybe if somebody does that, okay, next time you're bringing the snacks, right?
Yeah. That could be great. Yeah. We should do that. We should come up with a rule of things you can't say.
Yep.
Now put it in the money jar.
Coming up. Now, we have done this before, and it didn't come out good, so we didn't use it. This was way, way back, early episodes. But we are going to be recording gameplay in a couple weeks.
Well, I don't want to – we hope.
Well, we're going to be recording it.
Because we recorded an opening, and I don't think that's usable.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Duncan went off. Daniel went off. I'm not going to tell you in case we can figure out a way to make the content usable. Yeah,
like I said, there are some ways I'm going to play with it.
But so when you come to me opening, you could just skip it. Just skip the whole end of it.
Here's the thing. Without seeing ours, yours would be pretty good.
Well, you're going to listen to me through it. No, it wouldn't. I don't think it would have been very good.
I do.
Really?
You had several cards worth over $100.
Yeah, several. Maybe. But they're not anymore. They're all dropped precipitously, quickly. Yeah.
We'll have to look. I don't know. But anyway,
like
we're going to see if we can
was
use
250, now it's 100.
I am saying we may not be able to show it, but we are going to at least test recording games so that we can learn from that. And then the next time we will be able to show it because we'll have learned from what we did. Yeah. The first time we did it was several years ago. It wasn't either of us controlling the equipment. Somebody else wanted to record the games, and we said, well, we'll do it with our podcast. So it wasn't our equipment. We didn't know anything about how it was recorded. And
if we can't make this work, it may just be like until I get a house where I can like have a studio for it.
Right.
And then we would be able to do it.
But I think
because you got to have cameras down from the ceiling and stuff.
Well,
microphones.
I always have lined up the brackets so that the downward facing cameras will work.
Really?
Yep.
Where are you hanging it from?
No, they clip to the table.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we are going to be able to do it. All right.
It will also depend, though, on the place where we're staying, the Airbnb, if there's a suitable layout.
Correct. Yeah.
We don't. If it's a round table, it makes it a lot harder.
Okay.
So we'll see. But anyway, we're hoping to in a few weeks, and that would probably be a couple weeks after that. So maybe in a month, we'll have some footage of game.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Stay tuned.
But thank you, Tim, for all the hard work you've been doing on editing. And by the way, the reason that we're doing this, or where we'll be doing this, will be Tim's birthday.
Yeah.
He wanted to get a bunch of people together to play Magic, and we're like, yeah. Okay, I'll play Magic all weekend.
Yeah, I'm coming back from Colorado Springs for a business / taking my family for the business trip and then staying a little longer. So I'm coming back that Wednesday. Basically, I'll be back at work on Wednesday. I have Thursday, and then Friday we're driving back out to
we're doing half day so we can get up there right
for Airbnb to play. Yeah, so it'll be a wild week for me.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully Jeff's not too tired.
I mean, that's
you
fine.
got 2 days
to go
to
take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old man can nap.
Yeah.
One of the old men. But anyway, that's about all the time we have for today. I think that was pretty good. So some things to to think about things not to do. We always talk about what to do, and we sprinkle in things not to do. So we pulled some of that together and a lot more stuff just to kind of give you some tips on that side of it.
Yeah.
But thank you again. Thank you, Tim. You can find us youtube.com/@commanderspod. Email us at commanderspod.com. Cast at commanderspod.com, sorry. Commanderspod.com is our website. You can check us out there. Patreon.com/commanderspod if you want to help support us, help us get some of this equipment so we can do better content, more play tables, things like that. You can listen to us on all the podcast sites, Spotify.
Got it, nailed it.
Yep, just took two of those, put them together.
Yeah.
That shortened the,
It's a new website.
Yep. Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, etc. Don't forget, you can also view our videos on Spotify.
They're probably owned by the same company anyways.
Yeah, it's probably one conglomerate.
Yeah.
Also, just give us a like. Just give us a share. Share us with people that you know like magic or would think that we're funny. I don't know who those twisted people are, but maybe, whatever. Just like and a share can sometimes do way more than any of the other stuff. Really appreciate it. And as always, play bold, swing wide. Don't forget to pay the one.
Commanders